of 5. And they start out looking up at a 14-point Georgetown lead with Monroe handling the ball, Corciano, Lester, Howard, and Brown against Turner, Smith, Mourning, Bryant, and Jackson, the two starting fives. Lester off a pump fake to Howard, loose. First turnover of the second half. Back come the Hoyas.
And there was a case again. Lester is being played by Alonso. Alonso giving him no respect whatsoever. Playing that one-man zone down inside.
Mourning and Bryant playing catch, and now Alonso goes to work. That's goaltending. Put it down.
Isn't it interesting how Alonso has progressed this year? Now he's being much more offensive-minded down the low post. No question Howard goaltended on the shot. It's a great run by Georgetown.
Think you might see him someday on the NBA on CBS, Billy?
There's what Lester, yeah, I guarantee you. There's what Lester can do to help out his teammates. Oh, what a shot.
Monroe creating one, drew the foul, and going down hard was Mourning. He's all right.
His teammates gathered around him. They heard him scream out. I think he was just angry that he didn't block the shot.
Block shots like that and only have one personal foul. One of the things that you notice about Alonso is how he almost glides down the floor. He runs so softly. His timing is perfect. For a man his size, he really plays with the grace of a 6'4", 6'5" basketball player. It's going to be uphill for these fellas, and they know it.
Now trying to release. Go.
It's a 1,000th point of Rodney Monroe's fabulous career, and he starts to add to it.
All-conference performer in the ACC as a sophomore. Good screen by Turner on Corciani.
Knocked away from Turner, and off him, it'll go over to State.
Jim Valvano, the ultimate cheerleader, trying to bring his ball club back in this game. He faced some uphill struggles even to get into the NCAA tournament when he won back in '83. Almost knocked out in the opening round of the ACC tournament by Wake Forest. Never even got a bid.
Corciani short. Mourning going for the rebound against Howard.
Alonso giving a little mouth there. He did a lot of that in the Big East tournament. Remember what happened? John sat him down and Matumbo playing time.
This hitter, first team foul, second half.
Now Matumbo must be saying, what a strange country this is. I played so well in that tournament, and now I've been watching. I don't understand some of the things they want over here.
Nice reverse.
For the layup.
There was that solid screen that made that play. Brian having quite a night. You know, Charles Smith has not scored. We have Chucky Brown and Charles Smith, two fellows we thought would be an integral part of both offenses. Neither one has a point.
Bryant's having a great night as Monroe misses. Offensive rebound and a putback. Lester trying to follow up. Couldn't get it to fall. State couldn't get a break with Howard also charging the glass that time.
I think Lester was so anxious to get that one in the basket before Alonso could regroup and come over there and jam one.
This won't stay down for Brown, and now he's frustrated as he heads back down the floor. And now works, and it breaks out. Mourning and Lester get into it. And the pushing escalates.
And here comes Matumbo. John's got to get him out of there. We understand the rule very well, and it applies in the NCAA tournament as well. One fight, you'd have to miss a ball game. Brent, I said on the last play, Alonso got in the first push there, didn't he? I said on the last play, Alonso was starting to mouth off a little bit. The one weakness he has.
Lester knocked the ball out of bounds, and then Lester came back over, and it suddenly escalated with the two officials stepping in to separate them.
Now, Alonso has to be aware, Brent, that players of less caliber are going to, and I'm not saying Lester did that intentionally, but players of less caliber are going to get to him if he's going to allow that to happen. And with the NCAA rule as it is, that you miss a game if you're involved in a fight, not a very wise move on his part.
He'll conquer that. He's got so much ability. Here's Smith off the dribble. And Lester, who stayed in the game, yanks it back down. Mutombo replaces Mourning. Mourning will sit and cool off for a while.
NC State gained a lot of confidence when Mutombo came in the game the last time. That's when they had their nice run and got back within a working margin. John taking no chances. He's got Alonso off the bench already. Push off.
Monroe. And makes it.
Silky smooth shooter. That's what he's got on the back of his warm-up. Smooth, and that tells the story about him right there.
Bryant, who's having a career night, going to work against Monroe off the dribble. Now he gets it over to Jackson. Jackson backs him in and takes the jump shot, and he is short with a right-handed jump shot. Lead pass to Howard. Break is not there, and they will set up. North Carolina State is down with a whistle sounding. 46-32, and Alonzo Mourning will quickly check back into this game. Now, earlier tonight here at the Meadowlands, Duke defeated Minnesota handily, 87-70, and Illinois ousted Louisville, 83-69. And the boos you hear in the background are for the young man Alonzo Mourning, who got into a pushing match with Lester. And Mourning obviously able to shake it off with the big smile on his face, not allowing the cheers to get to him here. It's 46-32, Georgetown out on top.
Good screen by Lester.
Monroe short, but drew the foul, and he'll shoot it. It's on Turner. That's his second personal.
I don't believe John Turner was in the right defense that time. Got himself caught in a screen. You know, Brett, the strangest game that I think I've seen, I had an opportunity to see all year, was this NC State club's first game in the ACC tournament. They had walked all over Maryland twice, once by 20-some and once by 17. And then they found themselves in the opening round of that tournament getting knocked off by 22, 23 points. A strange day for Jim Valvano. Monroe starting to get the stroke going. And Jim would like to get it down under double figures by the 10-minute mark. Nothing but net with that fella.
12 points now for Monroe. 12-point Hoya lead.
Check the defense again. The triangle and two is what Valvano used to make his run last time. He's back in it.
And in the lane, a 3-second violation against Mourning. Jim Bain jumped right in there and found him camping. I think he counted to 6.
Were you watching the arm swing, Rick? He's a veteran official. We know he can count to 6, right? He used to be able to count to 10 in the backcourt. Levi Lester still hasn't understood that he's got to set some screens.
A shot rejected by Mourning. Valvano over there. Minnie Brown, Chucky's mom, says, come on, son, let's get some points in this game. That's a third foul on Turner.
Well, Brent, you're going to have a very difficult time scoring if you're Chucky Brown, because he's being played by John Turner, who's doing a good job on him one-to-one, and then he beats him, and Alonzo comes over because he doesn't have to worry about Lester.
Sam Jefferson replaces Turner, who will sit down with the third personal. And Brown at the free throw line. He shot 67% from the field in his last 10 games, and tonight he is 0 of 7. And a large measure of that is due to this tough Hoya defense, and Mama says, way to go.
And I said under double figures at the 10-minute mark. There's a chance to get it down there at 15.
Too much spin, hammering underneath, and the foul will go against North Carolina State.
I think you'll see Jim Valvano come back here, take Lester out, bring Weems back in. That's where he made the run in the first half. There's that triangle and two.
Mourning rolling off the screen to the inside, gets the pass. Now on the double team, the jump hook. And pushing foul underneath, and it goes against the Hoyas. That's Jefferson's first. Missouri continuing to lead Syracuse. You'll check in on the end of that one as soon as we finish our action here in the Meadowlands.
And Brent, what hurts Georgetown in this particular defense that State's playing is that Charles Smith is not up to snuff. Because they really miss his penetrating, his ability to see the defense that's being played.
The lead is at 11 for Georgetown. Corciani penetrates this time. Lester missing, but rammed in by Howard, who has now scored 13, with Smith, who's been slowed by the flu this week, watching for the bench. And Mourning left alone at the top, misfires. Run down by Corciani. Littlest man on the floor comes up with a rebound. Lead pass to Monroe. State digging back in, and Monroe is fouled by Tillman.
Now here's where Corciani occupies Alonso by taking the ball right to him, giving Lester the shot. Alonso tries to go back over to help again. Nobody taking Brian Howard for the dunk.
Big difference in the fouls. 16 against Georgetown, only 2 against State. We'll be right back now. We'll see what they come up with here at the 14:44 mark, trailing 46-37.
John goes to the 2-3 zone. Charles Smith back out there.
Wrap around. Acrobatic shot by Rodney Monroe.
This is one of the top shots that we've seen in the tournament so far. It goes up against a great shot blocker, the best in the country, moves it to the right hand, uses the body to shield Alonso off. That's what a play. Without fouling, you'd have a tendency to use your left arm to push away there.
A 16-point lead, now down to 7. Georgetown's possession. Smith with control, applying some pressure.
That was a nice move by Alonso, setting the screen for Charles.
Sends it back to Bryant. A 3. Finally, he misses one.
Charles is not himself, Brent. He would have been quick enough to get that shot off on the tap back. Really under the weather.
And the flu bug, which has hit this man right here.
So he just not up to snuff.
In a close game, it will be critical to John Thompson on the floor to have Charles Smith running this team. It makes a huge difference. But North Carolina State first has to get there against all this firepower.
Zone trapping by Georgetown that time. Takes away Corciani's dribble. Oh, why would you leave him alone?
The 3 goes down, and now Monroe with 17 points, 11 of them this half. He has fired State right back into it.
Alonso's wide open for the lob. They didn't see him. NC State saying with a triangle and 2 defense.
Great play by Brown, but Turner got it back.
Good defense by Corciani. Great help by Howard.
Jackson's 3 out. State rebounds. They trail it by 4. 13 minutes to go in the Meadowlands.
Rodney was ready to pull up and take another 3. Got Jaren Jackson on him now, and John goes back to the man-to-man. Good backdoor cut.
It's another one of those streaks tonight. 12 straight points for North Carolina State.
Valvano told Corciani he doesn't want to make that play with Alonso sitting down in the hole.
Penetrates. Gets it up over the bigger man. Can't get it to fall. Loose Hoyas go after every loose ball. They come away. Smith on the move. Gets it to Jackson in the middle. The winner moves to Sunday in the East Regional Championship against Duke. And there's a wet spot on the floor, so Jim Bain blew the whistle.
But I'm really surprised that Kelsey Weems has not gotten back into the game. State now needs that offensive push. Valvano getting great defense with that triangle. Weems could be the guy that could explode for him. Charles Smith sits down again. He just can only go for 2-3 minutes at a time.
6, 48-42. 12:20 to go. Here's Brown. Mourning yanks it away. Gets it into Bryant's hands. 9 rebounds for Alonzo. Tillman draws the foul. He'll shoot a pair.
Have you ever seen a game of streaks like this offensively? One team makes a run, and then Georgetown there ready to withstand it.
Well, tomorrow we'll have our first 2 regional finals, and the road to the Final Four will get it started at 1:30 Eastern. Then you'll go to Lexington for Virginia against Michigan. And out to Denver, it'll be UNLV against Seton Hall.
Hello, baby. Ice cream. Ice cream.
Yeah, we talked earlier about Georgetown, the first 2 games of the NCAA tournament, not holding teams down in their shooting percentage. They got it back here at halftime. Today's game holding state under 40. Now the key is going to be Corsiani getting their team off and get a decent shot.
His 4th personal foul in this game.
Good job by Monroe to go ahead and withstand that double team. Georgetown probably double teams better than anybody in the country. Active hands, they don't reach in to grab.
Winston replaces Tillman.
Whenever you go to a Georgetown practice, you see them often working in the double team situation. Just the ball, following the ball, moving those feet.
Points for Monroe. With Smith, who has been bedridden this week with the flu, obviously not near 100%.
Monroe was 10 for 11 from the foul line against Iowa, those 40 points.
Jackson wants Turner on the inside against Lester. Power move. Turner comes back and is fouled.
Playing with some kind of passion in the last couple of minutes, on both ends of the floor.
That's the 4th on Howard. Howard scored 11 in the first half and only 2 so far in the second half. It has been Monroe who has blazed away here. He has every state field goal in the second half except 1. And Howard has that one. I mean, this has been a Rodney Monroe show here in the second half.
Turner was banished for 1 game, Brent, with that fight with Jason Williams of St. John's. And he hadn't looked close to getting in a fight tonight. He's just been aggressively going for the ball.
Brown hands it over to Corciani. It's a 6-point Hoya lead inside the 12-minute mark, inside of 11:30 to be a little more accurate here, as you can see. Knocked out of bounds by Jackson.
A rather dangerous pass by Corsiani, particularly with a big overplay. Kelsey Reams is coming in the ball game. Howard sits down, and that still allows Alonzo not to guard anybody and play his one-man zone because Lester is his man. When State matched up well, as Howard was still in the game.
But Howard out with 4 personal fouls. Reams, and you can see how Mourning is sagging back into the key area off of Lester, saying, go ahead, if you want that one, you can have it.
So Avi has got to come out and set screens. To bury himself in the corner helps no one.
Brown fires up, but foul goes on the 8th. Was missing the Suns, and there was no time left on the shot clock, and that's why Brown had to fire it up outside.
Looked like Jaren Jackson was just going for the rebound.
You saw that tape on John Thompson's hand, that injured right hand, that finger. He did that. He was around the house picking up a mattress, and he injured a tendon. And they said that you can either undergo surgery or we can put it in that splint for about 8 to 10 weeks and it'll heal on you. And John elected to pass up the surgery. He said, I got some important things to tend to. And
he's a bowler. It's really messed up his bowling game. Monroe is just, he's stroking it on that foul line.
He's stroking it, period. He's 7 of 8 at the line. He now has 20 points. He had only 2 threes at the half.
Well, this young fella coming out of high school, you knew he was going to be a scorer. He's the all-time Maryland high school scoring champ, beat Quentin Daly's record, so he didn't come onto the college scene unnoticed as a potential scorer.
It's a 4-point game.
Well, isn't it about time for Georgetown to have their run now? That's what this game's been all about.
Sealed up, takes it back out to Jackson. Now they want Mourning on the inside, and he's fouled. Well, that's a 15 foul on North Carolina State. Georgetown already over the limit. And for Monroe, his second personal of the game.
Alonso gets in that tight. It's awful difficult to drop back in with a guard and be strong enough to handle it.
Welcome those of you who have been watching Syracuse and Missouri. High-scoring first half. That must be a good one. Here it is, Georgetown trying to hold off State. Another foul on the inside. This one has been for men only, down close to the glass. Georgetown led it by 1 point. Now the lead has gone down, and that foul on Lester is his third. Howard, their power forward, already sitting with 4 personal fouls. Alonzo Mourning got into a pushing and shoving match with Lester and was benched for a short time. And now he will sit down again. He did not do much, interestingly enough, after that incident. And now Thompson is going to sit him down and go with Jonathan Edwards, a player he has not had in the game and someone he has used only sparingly. So Mutombo does not get the call this time.
A little more experience in Jonathan Edwards. And when you look up at that scoreboard and think back that Georgetown was leading 42-28 at halftime. Here we are halfway through the second half. Georgetown not able to put anything on the board. Came right out and scored a deuce right at the beginning of the half, and they haven't had one in, what, 8 or 9 minutes now.
Georgetown hit 6 3-pointers in the first half, 4 of them by Bryant, who is here picking up Corciani. So that gives you a view as to how this one has unfolded so far. It's 52-46, down toward that 10-minute mark.
Good time for Corciani to penetrate because he doesn't have a shot blocker.
Brown jams it in.
When you could sense Corciani, being the smart player that he is, realize without the shot blocker in there, go ahead and penetrate, make the dish. Big difference. Jonathan Edwards wide open underneath.
So how long can Thompson go without Mourning becomes the big question. Winston losing it, but the Hoyas have got a loose ball. Jackson hands to the big man to replace Mourning, and Edwards puts in his first field goal of the NCAA tournament.
John coaching by feel here, figuring Edwards be a solidifying factor. Hasn't played a lot. Matter of fact, I don't even think he got in the Big East tournament in the games that we had an opportunity to see. Certainly not with anything on the line.
Here's Monroe on the outside. He's had the hot hand for State this half. Corciani, son of a coach down in the Miami, Florida area, who wants to coach himself. His dad watching from the sideline. And a foul against Georgetown. State will shoot 2. Now, I mentioned the pushing and shoving match, and those of you who were watching the other game, here is the incident. Billy, why don't you tell everybody what happened?
Well, Avi Lester, Alonso goes up, grabs a good rebound. Avi comes around the backside and hits the ball away. Alonso really didn't start anything here, but then he started to push. Avi stayed right with him, and both of them got in a little shouting match. John Thompson wisely took Alonso out of the game, but from that point on, he has not been a factor, at least on offense.
And so just as you joined us, those of you who are watching Missouri and Syracuse, Mourning was going over to the sideline, and Edwards had checked in. So John Thompson with a coaching gamble now with a young man he has not used much this year. Apparently, he didn't feel that Mutombo was giving him what he wanted in this game. And so he elected not to come back with him. And for Monroe, 23 points. Thompson and the Hoyas will try to regroup. That lead is down to 4. It once was 16. 82-87. Let me correct a mistake we made a short time ago when we said that Illinois had not made the Elite Eight since 52. It's the Final Four that they have not made since 52. And now the Fighting Illini are only one victory away from them. They'll play the winner of the Syracuse-Missouri game and our other regional final on Sunday. Billy, what about the Duke students who have stayed for this game? Who are they cheering for as the Hoyas bring one from downtown with Jackson, and he scored 17.
Well, they're pulling for their own conference team right now.
Don't give me that. Yep. You know why they're doing that.
Why?
They think they can beat State easier than Georgetown.
That could be true, too. Nobody ever accused them not of having some brains.
Here's Corciani.
That's a charge.
And yes.
Good play by Charles Smith. He moved his feet.
I'll tell you, Billy, that was also good officiating that time. They had 2 officials on the call, and they got it straight before they made the call.
Oh, you had the feeling that one was going the other way.
Oh, yeah, the one was thinking about the block underneath there.
Well, I wasn't going to say that.
Player control.
John asking if there was a foul because he's in a one-on-one situation.
See, he didn't give the sign over here, the player control foul, and that's what John wanted to get because the communication process had to be completed between 2 of the 3 officials here tonight. All right, 57-50. Hoyas with the lead, and we come down toward the 7:30 mark.
Still playing that triangle in 2.
He's been a workhorse tonight. He misses on his shot. Morning comes back. He's in the game.
Oh, what a tap.
What a great tap by Alonzo Mourning.
Did it with the left hand. Shows you how quick that guy can get off the floor on the 2nd and 3rd leap.
Weems rejected Mourning. He's back in the middle of it.
And again, Brent, if Avi Lester is going to stand there and just be a decoy, Alonzo just totally ignoring him now, just playing that one-man zone. Lester needs to either go over and screen him or go out and screen one of his teammates' defensive men so he can open some things up. And John goes 4 corners.
Well, he leads it by 9. It's inside of 7. And those of you who have followed Georgetown through the years, this is the one semi-controversial move we'll make from time to time in a game. He'll pull it out. Got him in the air. Won't stay down. State's ball. He had everything and probably was fouled on the shot, too, and didn't get the call.
State looking, not looking to break anymore, and that's where they were effective, trying to get back down court.
Got a cold spell for the Wolfpack.
Setting a double low for Chucky Brown.
But he ends that, and there is the Duke cheering section. 87-70. They advance to the final tonight, knocking out Minnesota of the Big Ten.
Jim Valvano, he's not going to be suckered in if they go 4 corners. As a matter of fact, I think with this much time, he's going to let them do it and let the clock be part of his team as opposed to being his enemy. And John decides he's not going to play that game anymore either.
Mourning into the lane, and it goes against Georgetown. Thompson unhappy with his call.
Oh, I never saw that call either. Alonzo just smiling and John crying. I never saw the hook on that play.
But it goes down in the book as the 3rd personal against him. Take a look. I didn't see the hook.
Nice drop step. I didn't see him use his arm to gain an advantage at all. And of course that official overheard us as he's walking right behind us. So he didn't like that one.
So here comes the even up call.
Yeah.
Now that never happens, does it, Billy?
Little box. See, Lester steps out. Alonzo doesn't even care.
The lead is 7. Time remaining in regulation.
I think if you're a team that's going to take advantage of Alonzo, you've got to have a big man who, if he steps out, can make that jump shot.
He traveled. There it is. Get it back.
Yep. Well, he did travel, too. He didn't have to work hard to get that one back.
With Billy Packer, I'm Brent Musburger. Nice to have you along tonight from the Meadowlands at East Rutherford. This arena is applying for a Final Four down the road. This would be a terrific location for the national championship to move someday, right here in the shadow of Manhattan.
Great man-to-man now by NC State. Lonzo's got Ava Lester on his. He just crybabying in there.
Punch the morning, he'll put it down and go, and he travels.
Now Alonzo trying to do a little bit too much. Would you take a look at the score? You're up 7. You got almost 4:45 to go. Punch that ball back out.
We'll take a break here near the 5-minute mark, and we'll come right back. To the living room, and Chris was telling me that Jimmy took every piece of furniture in the house and he lined it up because, you know, Father's a coach. So he was doing X's and O's with the dining room tables, and he was swinging his hands and moving everything. And Corciani said, I just had to go play for a guy named Valvano. Said I couldn't leave.
Everybody in the family has worn number 13. Nice backdoor cut. Alonzo's there for the foul.
That's 4 fouls on Alonzo Mourning. And how important something can be like that. They could.
Monroe.
4.5 minutes to go, Billy. It's a long way. You're up 7.
Well, I think we're seeing Bobby Winston come down. I think John now under the 4:30 mark is going to go to his 4 corners. The difference tonight is Charles Smith is not healthy. He's normally the guy that they count on back there in the point in this situation. But I'd be shocked if they don't go and hold the ball here.
Monroe with 24 points, 18 of them mishandled. Missing that time. 59-53, Georgetown. That's our time left.
Here you go, the 3 guards out here. Bobby Winston very good at this particular 4-corner situation. Now, with the 3-point play, you're down 6, so you only need 2 possessions. So Jimmy going to let that clock. You have to come out and play a little bit, but he's going to let that clock just go by.
Corciani chasing Smith.
He's got the same philosophy Al McGuire had in the '77 National Championship when Dean Smith went to the 4 corners. You come to me. Tough shot.
Winston. Corciani's ball. State's possession, and he got Winston up over the back.
Corciani, a smart player. He tried it earlier in the game, didn't get the call. He realizes he's got Bobby Winston there, goes right underneath him. Winston trying to get out of the way, but no chance. Now, we mentioned the family. We saw Gabe Jr., who's Chris's brother, played down in New Orleans, and he also had a sister who played a lot of basketball, Kathy. She wore number 13 as well. Nothing but net.
Now for Thompson.
Jim has got that lucky coat over there. And he said, even if it's not the same coat, don't tell me the difference, because he's got a string going with it.
Out of bounds, State's ball. This has been some year for Jim Valvano. All the pressure of that book jacket that was published, and then the decision not to publish the book. The players actually bolstering his spirits. Now he'll call a timeout, which was called before the steal or attempted steal. Jimmy credits the players for keeping this team going, and now he's got a chance for an upset. Syracuse with a 1-point lead on Missouri. Monroe coming out high. It's 59-54.
Big East with, what, 3 teams still in the hunt. They've taken 3 of the Final Four before. Alonzo's not going for any Lester out there.
Monroe, who's been the show, gets another one to fall. 26 points.
We saw
them this half.
We saw a show by Glenn Rice last night. And Monroe doing it tonight. Richard Morgan, Virginia, another one of those high-scoring fellas in the NCAA tournament. John goes to a double box. Little stall game again. Different than his 4 corners. Watch Bobby Winston pop out now. And he goes back in. They'll pop out from the other side.
Billy Valvano told me it was get me close in the last 5 minutes.
Walk. Valvano was trying to foul, Brent. Bobby Winston gets called for the walk. John going timeout. This is a chess match now.
Thompson down to 2 timeouts. He's still up, but only by 3. Goes to within 3. Charles Smith has not yet scored for the Hoyas. Mourning is playing with 4 personal fouls. Timeout was called. There's going to be a 5-second violation, and the Wolfpack used the timeout at the 2:30 mark. That will leave State with only 1 timeout the rest of the way. The midcourt line, and North Carolina State will again take the ball out of bounds.
Right, they might send a guy along. Alonzo playing safety.
They get it to Brown short, however, and back to Corciani. And they quickly retreat defensively. Charles Smith, who is scoreless, and the last time that happened was 71 games ago against Syracuse in '87. They go the back door. Monroe elects to bring it on through. The shot wasn't there. Hit by Georgetown. State's ball.
I think it'd be a real good time for Corciani. He's got Smith on him. Now, John goes to the zone on the out of bounds. Let's see if he goes back to the man-to-man here. He's got Smith on him. We know Smith is not up to snuff. Try to take him with a penetration, Alonzo, to make the play. See if he does it.
Georgetown leads it by 3. Time remaining in the game. Shot clock is on the left.
Corciani with the ball. Trying to get a double screen for Monroe.
Monroe's had the hot hand this half. Lester looking for the pass. Back to Corciani, who penetrates and comes to... There it is! No basket! No basket! Traveling! Traveling is the call against Corciani. Valvano can't believe it.
He's screaming, are you crazy? I thought he'd penetrate here. Let's see. Nowhere near a walk. Should have been a good basket and a foul. No steps at all. Not even close.
On a bad break. With his mother not believing it from the stands. Georgetown brings it down, leading by 3, and it's Smith who's trying to get off the schneid. Loose on the floor. Tillman diving, saves it, and Jackson comes up.
See, Charles Smith can't take it to the hoop. He's going to try, but just doesn't have the strength he normally has.
Knocked out of bounds by State. Hoyas ball at the 1:21 mark.
You know what Jim Valvano will employ. He'll not be afraid to foul to get that ball back. Doesn't want to foul Charles Smith. John goes 4 corners.
Pull it out.
Well, down to 8 seconds. Ryan had the hot hand the first half.
Hit 3 to put the Hoyas up 6 at the 1-minute mark. And Valvano quickly wants the ball down the floor.
He's taking
Why is he taking so much time? Now he swings into it. Time is working against the Wolfpack now. And a foul goes against Tillman. Now Valvano,
He better be careful.
official. He's got to be real careful over that traveling call. He is furious over there on the sideline. Welcome those of you watching Syracuse, Missouri. We're going to ship you right back. You're with us for the final 45 seconds. Georgetown just hit a 3 after a controversial traveling call against Corciani. Corciani hit a driving layup and would have apparently gone to the free throw line, but traveling was the call. Now shooting the 1-on-1, he hits the front end at 49 seconds. Valvano will quickly have to put Georgetown on the free throw line after this play, whether it's successful or the Hoyas get the rebound. 49 seconds to go. Plenty of time. Corciani hits both ends.
Valvano wasn't even afraid in the Iowa game to foul when it put Iowa in a position to have a 2-point lead if they make the free throws. Here goes long.
He looked long. They don't want to put Smith. He's scoreless in this game. Corciani backs off, checks the coach. Smith wants to go to the free throw line, and now he will.
Big East Player of the Year gets a chance to get his first 2 in a crucial situation here. But Jim Valvano is going to commit a number of fouls before this one's over, Brent.
Final 43 seconds. This will be the final piece in this half of the draw. UNLV, Seton Hall are there in the West. Duke awaits the winner of this game, and then the 2 survivors move on to Seattle in the national championship. Charles Smith is still scoreless. State's ball, down by 4, moving toward 30 seconds. Monroe with the hot hand. Maneuvers. The jumper is there, won't roll. Mourning.
They've got a foul.
And they'll put him on the free throw line. Brown assessed the personal, along with Weems, who was right there.
That was a sensational shot by Monroe. He realized Mourning was going to be there and adjusted the shot in midair. Put it up softly on the board. And Brent, they'll be in Raleigh, North Carolina, be going back and replaying that call down inside for the rest of this spring and most of the summer.
And they go back to the bench now to bring some muscle in and take Weems out.
Free throw shooting percentage for Alonzo in the tournament, much better than regular season. Hit the big ones against Princeton.
It is at the line. North Carolina State, A.Y. Lester is back in the game.
Two big free throws.
Need a 3 here.
Corciani quickly coming up. Monroe up over Winston. Smith runs down the rebound. And the Hoyas will send Smith to the free throw line with 16 seconds to go. And it is 64-58. And Valvano can only think of what might have been against Thompson and the Hoyas tonight.
Brent, the Duke and the Georgetown fans going after each other right down here in good-natured fun. A lot of finger pointing, the 2 college student groups side by side.
And Smith scores his first point of the game with 16 seconds remaining. Those of you who are wondering what's wrong with him, he's been battling the flu and he has been bedridden all week. He told us during pregame warm-ups, I think you can see him suppressing sort of a half cough, that he was in bed until the early evening tonight. Then he came out and got ready for the game. Got a big defensive rebound.
Oh, tap in.
In by Bobby Winston. And that'll put it away here for the Hoyas. They're going to go to the East Regional Final. Corciani.
Oh, Valvano checking out the referee here. He's got to be careful. His team played such a fine ball game.
He may get a technical yet. So 3 ticks of the clock left. And Georgetown will take on Duke. That would mean that the top 2 seeds would have survived in this region.
Salvo. That official if he runs by. It'd be smart for him to stay out of the area. All John has to do is get the ball in bounds, Brent, because NC State has no more timeouts. See if they call that intentional. Push from the back. It doesn't look like they're going to call it that way. It's got to be intentional.
1 tick of the clock left, and Corciani commits the personal. So he fouls out of the game. Fine young player, scored but 6 points here tonight. But he was the middle of that big controversy when they were driving for a tie, and traveling was the call on his field goal, which would have pulled them to within 1. And when the whistle sounded, I have to admit, I thought it was a foul on the shot, and he would attempt the free throw that would have tied it. But traveling was the call. It went over. Georgetown came down, and they took advantage of the break. They hit a 3, and they have rolled ever since.
Brent Corsiani ends the year with 2 straight years at over 200 assists. He's well on his way to maybe someday catching Sherm Douglas for the Big East at all-time national record.
So the Hoyas will take on Duke. And Jimmy Valvano congratulates John Thompson on the triumph and shakes hands with the Hoya players. This is the moment that will keep Valvano awake tonight. Down by 3. Corsiani on the dribble for the drive. Hit the field goal. Leaning in a little bit, and he was called for traveling. So that wraps it up here in the East. Billy Packer, I'm Brent Musburger. On Sunday, it will be Duke against Georgetown for the right to move on to Seattle at the national championship. Right now, let's send you along to Jim Nance.
All right, Brent, we now have 2 big